gold coins were called mohar, copper coins were called dam. These were a standard mode of exchange. These were minted by his government. He died at the age of 75 while fighting the Chandelas in Kalinjar. This is the image of Sher Shah Suri. Next came Humayun's return. So during the ruling period of Sher Shah Suri, there was peace and stability, but his successors didn't have capabilities as him. And then Humayun took advantage of this and he invaded India, captured Lahore, Agra as well as Delhi. But then Humayun also couldn't last for many years. He died the immediate next year and then he was succeeded by his son Akbar. This is the image of. Next is Akbar the Great. He ruled from the period 1556 AD to 1605 AD. He was born in 1542 in Amarkot. He was only 13 years old when he was crowned the emperor. So until he became 18-year-old, his tutor and mentor Bairam Khan, he took the care of the empire. And then when Humayun died, two of the Sher Shah's nephews, that is Adil Shah and Sikandar Shah, they tried to take back the Delhi. So Hemu, Adil Shah's able general, they occupied Delhi and Agra, and Bairam Khan and Akbar, they met Hemu directly in the fight of Second Battle of Panipat and defeated him. And then Akbar shifted his capital to Agra. This is the image of Akbar the Great. Let's see Akbar's conquests. So Akbar was an ambitious man. He had a strong administrative system. He followed a policy of religious tolerance and ensured the support of Rajputs and Sikhs. So by the end of AD 1601, the Mughal Empire stretched from Afghanistan to Bengal and Kashmir to Deccan. How was the administration? Akbar helped in the discharge of the administrative duties by the cabinet. So cabinet consists of many officers. Wazir was similar to Prime Minister. He was the advisor to the emperor. Diwan was in charge of revenue and finance and was similar to finance minister. Mir Bakshi was the paymaster of the army. Qazi was the highest judicial head next to emperor. Sadrai Sudar was in charge of the religious endowments. The provincial government. So Akbar divided his empire into 15 subas or provinces. Each was headed by a governor or subedar, and these provinces were divided into sarkars or districts, and each sarkar consisted of several paraganas. Several villages make up a paragana. This is the image of his provincial government. So military administration was known as Mansabdari system. It brought a great order in the system of military administration. So this Mansabdari system was introduced by Akbar, and it is a system which consists of a hierarchy of ranks or offices. This was introduced in the AD 1574. So Mansabdari system bring about a greater order in the military administration. This system was started. So it consists of hierarchy of rank or offices, and Mansab means rank. So every civil or military official was given a jagir or a piece of land according to his rank, and these Mansabdars, they drew their salaries from the revenue of the land, and a new system called Savar was introduced. So it defined that how many cavalry a military commander was expected to maintain. Akbar also followed the system of Dagwa Chehra, or the branding of horses and rolls with the description of men to avoid the forgery. How was the land revenue policy? So Akbar adopted the Sher Shah system of land revenue, and the chief land revenue officer was Raja Todar Mal. He introduced the Dashala system. So under the Dashala system, how was it? The quality of the land was considered important before fixing the land revenue. So land was divided into 4 groups depending on fertility and number of times it was cultivated in a year. Revenue to be paid. This was calculated on a basis of 10-year average of the yield. Yield means the quantity of the produce and also on the prices of different crops. So state took 1/3 of the average yield, and this revenue could be paid in cash or any other form. Rajput policy. Akbar the ruler gave important posts to the Rajputs and other Hindus in his administration. So who were the important Rajputs? Raja Todar Mal, Raja Birbal, Raja Bihari Mal, his son Bhagwan Das, his grandson Man Singh. All these Rajputs, they held important positions in the Akbar's court. So in this image we see Akbar's court and many Rajputs in his court. How was the religious policy? Akbar was a liberal ruler. He believed in equality and unity of all the religions. He employed Hindus in his government and gave them high ranks. And he abolished the religious tax. He abolished the religious tax on the non-Muslims known as Jizya, and art and culture under Akbar. So how was the art and culture under the Akbar? He was a great patron of the art. He was known for the brilliance of the court he maintained. And in his court were the Navratnas or the architecture. Akbar was a prolific builder. An outstanding example of the architecture during the Akbar's rule is the new capital he built at the Fatehpur Sikri. So this is the Fatehpur Sikri. Art and culture under the Akbar. So he was a great patron of art. He was known for the brilliance. His court had 9 jewels. They included Mian Tansen. He was the singer and a musician. Abdul Fazl, a court poet and a chronicler. Birbal, he was known for his wit and wisdom. Todar Mal and Man Singh, renowned generals. And Abu Fazl, he was the wazir and the historiographer in the Akbar's court. And he wrote a book called Akbarnama, which is a rich source of information about Akbar and his life. So Akbar was the mightiest sovereign known to the history. Next ruler is Jahangir. He ruled from the AD 1605 to the AD 1627. So Prince Salim, the eldest son of Akbar, he ascended the throne of Delhi, and he was the fourth Mughal ruler. And among all this rebellion and plotting by his own son Khusrau. So during the ruling period of Jahangir, number of Europeans, Portuguese, British, Dutch started to make their presence felt in India and also other countries surrounding the Indian Ocean. So this is the image of Jahangir. In the AD 1611, Jahangir married Mirunisa. She was a widow of Sher Afghan Jagirdar of Bengal, and then he gave her the chief queen title of Nur Jahan. Jahangir started the issue of silver and gold coins, and they used to bear the image of him and his wife Nur Jahan. So during the last days of Jahangir, he wrote an autobiography called Tuzuki Jahangiri. This is the image of Nur Jahan. Next was Shah Jahan. During the AD 1628 to 1658, Shah Jahan ruled. So Prince Khurram, when he ascended the throne, he took the title of Shahabuddin Muhammad Shah Jahan. He was born in 1592 to a Hindu princess Bhanumati, the daughter of Rana Uday Singh of Mewar, and then Shah Jahan married Nur Jahan's niece Mumtaz Mahal. Shah Jahan led a successful military campaign against Mewar, Kangra and Deccan kingdoms. This is the image of the ruler Shah Jahan. How was the architecture? Shah Jahan was a master builder. So when Mumtaz Mahal died in the AD 1631, Shah Jahan built the Taj Mahal to house the tomb of his beloved wife. How was the administration during the Shah Jahan period? He restored the Mansabdari system, which was started by Akbar and which had fallen into disuse in the Jahangir's time. So in the AD 1657, Shah Jahan fell ill. His 4 sons were battling for the right to succeed his father, and Aurangzeb emerged as the winner. This is the Taj Mahal. Next came Aurangzeb. He ruled from AD 1658 to AD 1707. He was the 3rd son of Shah Jahan and Mumtaz Mahal. She was born in AD 1618. This is the image of Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb's empire was the biggest one and anyone had ever ruled in India. So in his rule of almost 50 years, He was always at war with one or the other ruler. So in this India map, they see the span of Mughal Empire, that is Aurangzeb's rule. Next is religious policy. So Aurangzeb was a Muslim and he believed that it is his duty to strengthen the Islam rule in his empire. So he discontinued the policy of religious tolerance, which was followed by the Mughal rulers earlier. He reimposed the jizya, the religious tax on the non-Muslims that Akbar has abolished. Rajput policy. Aurangzeb lost his loyalty and support of the Rajputs. He also lost money, time and many of his generals. He followed Deccan policy. He spent 26 years of his life and ruling in the Deccan region. This brought him direct confrontation with the rising powers of Marathas. And then Aurangzeb won the kingdoms of Bijapur in the AD 1681 and Golconda in the AD 1687. How was the Aurangzeb's character? He followed the law and tradition prescribed to the Muslims. He did not indulge in any food, drink or dress that was prohibited in the Quran. And prayers and
The Mughal dynasty laid its foundation in India in the early 16th century. The dynasty started with the coming of the first ruler, Babur, who crossed Afghanistan and reached the Punjab plains in 1526 AD. Babur was born in Farghana in 1483 and ascended the throne at a very young age. He defeated Ibrahim Lodi in the first battle of Panipat. Babur was succeeded by his son Humayun in 1530. He divided his inheritance equally among his brothers, according to the will of his father. He started the construction of the Purana Killa, but could not finish it. Humayun was defeated by Sher Shah Suri and had to flee to Iran. He died in 1556 due to an accident on the staircase. Humayun was succeeded by his very young son Akbar in the same year. Akbar expanded the kingdom from Kabul to Bengal. He built the walled city of Fatehpur Sikri in 1571. The Navratans, or the 9 courtiers, found an important place in Akbar's court. Akbar started the new religion, Deen-e-Ilahi. Jahangir succeeded the throne after Akbar in 1605. He was the first emperor to open relations with the British East India Company in India. His empress, Begum Noor Jahan, was the real power behind the throne. Shah Jahan was Jahangir's third son, who was born in Lahore in 1592. He was a great connoisseur of art and architecture, building monuments like the Taj Mahal, the Jama Masjid, and the beautiful Shalimar Gardens in Srinagar. The majestic peacock throne is also from his time. Aurangzeb was the last emperor who sat on the Mughal throne in 1658. He was an autocratic ruler who was deeply religious, believing in the Islamic law of Sharia. The Mughal Empire reached its zenith during Aurangzeb's rule. The territorial extent of the empire was short-lived, as revolts of subsidiary rulers challenged its integrity. By the 17th century, the Mughal Empire had lost its glory, but had left behind a political legacy